Hey, what's up, everybody? Peacock here in Singapore, and it is 8 o'clock. Well, okay, quarter to 9 on a Tuesday, chilling over here. I should be getting dressed here in a second, because I do have a casting call to go attend to. But, usual routine: get up in the morning, get baby girl off to school, go pick up groceries if I need to on the way back home, because it's super quiet in the in the grocery store. I don't even know why I was about to say bathroom. Super quiet in the grocery store, and I really enjoy just wandering down the aisles, not being rushed, not having to elbow my way past people and stuff. It's really chill. So, um, finished all of that workout, came back home, had breakfast. I had a smoothie today. I had this really bad habit, you guys. I tend to buy vanilla Greek yogurt because I can't take regular yogurt. So Greek yogurt has a little less lactose in it than regular yogurt and milk does. So it's still a good source of protein for me. And it helps me with my smoothies. So when I make smoothies, it's usually 1 cup of juice, 1 cup of yogurt, and then the frozen fruit and whatever additives I want to put in there. So today I actually put in baobab extract. It's not extract, it's a powder. And I also put in spirulina to kind of, get my body reset because I really only had about 2 hours of sleep last night. So I sound super wide awake, but catch me again like after lunch and see if I'm managing or not. Um, okay, so had all of that. I had this problem where I buy the yogurt and I tend to put off making smoothies. Now that I have the yogurt, I won't make the smoothie, and I'll wait and I'll wait and I'll wait. And I don't know. I think part of me is like, oh well, if I use the frozen fruit, it'll finish faster, and it's quite expensive, even as like fresh fruit to buy fresh fruit and then put in the freezer and stuff like that. So it's a silly mental something that I got going on, and lo and behold, the damn yogurt expired. And it's not like it's cheap or anything. It's about $8 for a tub of yogurt, and I totally just blew a whole. Well, I blew a half a tub because I didn't use it the way I should have, and I gotta get better at that, y'all. So today I just had juice and frozen fruit and the extracts and stuff. I didn't have the yogurt because it was expired. It's all good. I will learn, live and learn, and then get loves. That's how that commercial goes, right? Okay. So enough rambling. You've caught up on what's going on today for the most part. I did have to go get groceries because I do have meal prep later on today. So my client will pick up, I think, around like 8 o'clock, and I have 21 meals to make after the casting call before he comes to pick it up. And I think I can manage it. The menu today is pancakes for breakfast. He wants 3 pancakes a day for 7 days, and then I am making honey garlic chicken. It's going to end up kind of like shredded chicken, and he'll be able to pile that onto a bun and eat that for lunch. And then I have a tortellini. It's a stuffed tortellini with porcini mushrooms. I think the mushrooms are actually really hearty, and they have a great flavor to them. So porcini mushrooms, but in an Alfredo sauce with some vegetables and some chicken as well. So, yep, that's the 21 meals. It's 3 different dishes, but 7 portions of each. So, yeah, I've got my work cut out for me. But back to the point at hand. Every morning while I have my breakfast, I usually listen to YouTube or a podcast or a TED Talk or something. I like to fill my brain with something. If I'm not listening or watching something, it's usually because I'm reading. And today I decided to listen a little bit and see what I could come up with, because I love being motivated. I love getting the extra something in the beginning of the day so I can kind of chew on it for the rest of the day. Kind of is like the thought for the day almost. So I ran across an episode by Robin Sharma, and he was talking about the process, the business of human connection, which is basically what I'm doing, right? I am a human connection coach. Basically, because I teach emotional intelligence, it also teaches you about yourself and teaches you how to relate to others so you can have the best possible human connections. Because, look, anywhere we go, we're going to run into a human somewhere, so we might as well learn how to really connect and really communicate so we can have some really great relationships and conversations throughout our life. But what he was saying was, it really doesn't take that much to care, to show that you really care. People notice patterns all the time. It's something we're taught to do. Notice a pattern, picking out patterns, picking out shapes, repeating patterns. Math is basically a bunch of repeating patterns, right? So with that in mind, we learn how to connect with people, but we don't use it as often. We would rather be in our own little world, connecting through the internet rather than face to face, and that's something of a lost art now. Uh, the the thing I notice most when I watch Netflix or something like that is the way that we speak. We have like a and and a like a lot. Um, See, I just did it again. We do that a lot. But when I watch things like Lucifer and the originals, I love the old English that they use. All of the beautiful, spectacular, colorful words that they use that we don't use it often anymore because we have our set favorites, right? It's almost like having a closet full of gorgeous clothes and you wear the same 3 t-shirts over and over again. So, with that in mind, it's the same thing with people. We tend to gravitate towards the ones that we're closest to or the easy ones to be around, but we don't learn how to deal with the difficult people. We don't learn how to connect with the people that maybe aren't so lovable, are having a hard time, or tend to bring drama with them, but those are the ones who need it the most. And that's something we don't really notice, we don't really pay attention to. I was listening to something else before I got onto the Robin Sharma talk, and it was something to the effect of, the answer is yes, now what is the question? And he was generally speaking about the fact that people don't venture to help anybody until they see that they're in trouble. If you, let's for example say my cousin is in a wheelchair, she's wheelchair bound, spina bifida, um, and she's working on decreasing her weight so she could maybe work on her lower body and strengthen it enough to maybe one day walk with crutches, and then of course without. That is the goal. But for now she happens to be wheelchair bound. But for the most part, I don't see where people would do anything but give her sideways glances unless she really looked like she was struggling, because she can get around. She can move around in her wheelchair. She tends to have, great relationships. She talks, she walks, she laughs, she has fun. She cooks, she's an author. She has proven that she can do all of these things. So generally people don't think twice about offering to help, or can I make your life a little bit easier, or give her the right away, because she seems to be able-bodied. So unless you're in a bit of a struggle, like a visible struggle, people don't generally tend to offer their oh gosh, really? No audio? Seriously? Please don't tell me that. Can you hear me now? Or can you tell me if you can hear me now? This is going to be terrible if I find out that there's no audio at all and I've been ranting and raving for like the last, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. So what I've understood is people don't go out of their way to offer help unless they see you're visibly struggling. And for those of us who aren't good at saying out loud that they need help, or are really good at putting up a good face. I'm one of those poker face girls. I'm really good at pretending like everything's good. It looks great on the surface. If you were to come walk by me and smile, I will smile big and happy, and it will smile all the way up into my eyes so you can see that it's genuine. But you can't tell what all is going on inside of my head. You can't tell the kind of turmoil I'm dealing with, and that can be a difficult situation to navigate. So I'm in the business of human connection. I'm in the business of trying to make sure that people feel safe enough to speak their minds, to tell people that they need something, so that you don't have to continually guess, and then you don't have to draw conclusions of people who don't come forward and ask after you, or inquire as to where you've been, what you're doing, how you are, because you're able to say it out loud. And I feel like that's something very, very important that Robin Sharma gave us in that quick lecture that he put on YouTube, because people don't think about it in terms like that. When you think, human connection, when you think retail, for example, people come up as soon as you enter the store and say, hey, how are you? Can I help you with something? But at that point, you haven't even had a chance to look around. You don't know what you're looking for. So when I was working in retail, and this is probably because I came from a different background, when I was working in retail, I made sure to keep an eye on who all was in the store. Now, I came at it from a background of, I'm going to try and stop people from shoplifting. I worked in places like Sam Goody's, which was a CD cassette store for music, and I worked in Claire's, which is a quick jewelry store. I worked at PacSun. So all of those places have little tiny thingies that you could lift and put in your pocket. And I know that because I was one of those girls. I was really bad. So I wouldn't follow people around because I know how I feel if people follow me around, but I do notice where people are, and I do ask or compliment, or give some kind of constructive feedback on whatever they happen to be looking at. If I think it might look good on them, I would suggest that they would, go and try one on. Or if they are looking at a set of earrings, I would ask them if they have a particular occasion they're buying for, if it's just, because they like collecting jewelry like that. So it's in the business of human connection, and I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable, but I do want them to understand that to speak to me is a safe thing to do. It's a comfortable thing to do. I'm not going to judge you. It's, a safe space, basically. And the only way they can know that is if I open my mouth and tell them, I offer it to them. So that's what I'm trying to teach people to do as well. But it's not always that easy. People aren't used to doing that. They're worried about how they'll come off. They're worried about how people hear them, how people take their appearance, how people take their language skills. And it's something that I'm trying to help people get over, because it's really important. No matter where you go, you have people that you have to speak to, whether it's at work, whether it's in the house, whether it's, on a date or in a restaurant. Oh my gosh, the amount of people that are so rude to servers is just uncanny to me. I don't like that at all. But that's why I think this is a very, very important, essential skill set. So I'm not going to stop teaching the business of human connection, and I hope that people take it a little more seriously, because then we can get into the bigger topics of things such as racism. How do we fix that? Maybe it's not in my backyard anymore. The States is a long, long way away, but I have things in my own backyard that I can take care of. There is a current situation about the brown face ads here in Singapore, where there was a Chinese man who portrayed an Indian or Malay person as well, and they wrote it off as, oh no, that's not China, that's not racism, we're not making fun of you, and so they very quickly took the ad down, but they did not explain anything. They did not correct it. They rectified it, but they did not correct it. They took it down, but they didn't, apologize or reshoot the entire campaign. The same thing goes for the people who spoke up about it. There was a young lady named Preeti, I don't even know how to pronounce it, Preeti PLS, and she did a quick rap video, from what I understood, about it in regards to this thing. She's trying to draw attention to the problem that we have here. And what she was basically, the result was, she was kind of slapped on the hand and told to take it down. So she issued an apology. But the apology was very much like the apology from the ad campaign. It was very broad, it was very vague, and it didn't really promise much of anything. So instead of doing that sly, underhanded, passive aggressive thing, I would rather we hit the problem head on and fix it. Actually draw on the main characteristics of the situation, so people can weigh in on what's going on. Because there's no point in pretending the situation doesn't exist while hostility kind of escalates in the background. So rather than do that, I would really, really love it if our leaders would notice and draw attention to it before it becomes bigger, so they can actually show the people that they care, and it would rally more support and national pride, especially with National Day coming up and everything. I think it would be really, really helpful. As for the US, I don't know if President Trump is actually going to take anything seriously. I think he's just in it for the money and the fact that he can put this on his resume now. But bottom line is, it's not a blanket statement when we say white people are given different treatment. Some white people are. And the fact that it's covered in the news and shows a marked difference in the treatment of a black person versus a white person, I think that's something that people need to take into account and address right away. I think that people need to be able to have the freedom of speech, like honestly have the freedom of speech to say what they need to say and have the debate start, because otherwise it's an ongoing situation. It's an ongoing divide between a people that should be united, because they're meant to be one country. So that's my rant for the day. I'm really hoping that the audio came through on this. I'm gonna share it live, and then I'm gonna go ahead and go back and listen and see if I could hear anything. But in the meantime, y'all take it easy, be safe, and really think about this. Human connection, there's no escaping it. Yes, AI is coming up. Yes, you can ask Google, you can ask Alexa, you can ask Siri, you can ask all those people, those artificial intelligences. But if you can't ask a human being, then what's really the point? If you don't feel comfortable asking, if you don't feel comfortable opening your mouth to tell people what you feel, what's the point of having a voice at all then? So I would love for you to consider that. Leave me comments in the below, and I will get to you. But in the meantime, y'all have a blessed Tuesday, and I will catch you again tomorrow.